What is going on, everybody? Carnage back here again, and today I am back with a brand new review. That review being of the brand new X-Men 97 Morph figure. Pretty solid wave that he comes in. Can't really see him. So far, Logan being the weakest one out of the wave, in my opinion. But we get a brand new Jubilee, something a lot of people have been wanting, I know. Morph, which I know, quite a few people would have liked a more comic book accurate Morph. Emma Frost, Cable, which that Cable looks pretty sick, and then Sunspot, which Sunspot I am very, very tempted about. But, gotta say so far, I did open this figure already. Pretty good, pretty solid figure so far. I do have a couple gripes with it, but, pretty good. But before I get into those, box-wise, really do like the box. It is basically just, kind of reuse of all the other boxes that they've done for the retro carded stuff. Nothing super, super crazy about him, but let's just get right into the accessories. He does come with 2 fisted hands, and I will say these are some very small fisted hands for, a male figure, in my opinion. Like, for example, like if I grab Psylocke right here, they're not much bigger than hers, which, kind of surprised me. Just mostly because, let me just pop off this hand from the 97 Cyclops. Like, I mean, like Cyclops' hand is like twice the size of his, so that's just kind of where it just kind of, surprised me and threw me off and threw a loop. But, still pretty solid. He does come with 2 alternate heads. His, regular, normal human head, which I will say, trying to put it on the figure, bit of a struggle, and it does not really look the best, in my opinion, on the figure. It does kind of look a bit off, in my opinion, and I don't know if it's just mine, but there's definitely a bit of a gap between, his head and everything else, and it is also a bit wobbly for mine on the neck, so that is my main gripe. But the main head pops on very nicely, and I keep forgetting his name, but I know he was in the Immortal Hulk, and I know he was quite a big problem in the TV show. But, very solid. And let me just kind of get into the detail on this, just because I don't know if you can really see that on the goggles, or not goggles, glasses, but, they do kind of have like a TV static look to it, which pretty cool. And I really do like this head sculpt. Pretty decent head sculpt. And, the Morph head sculpt, whoops, still very, very cool. Really do like this quite a bit. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Bully Maguire. Don't know why. Just looks like an animated Bully Maguire head. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but underneath this eye, he does kind of have a little bit of a black smudge. But, nothing super, super bad. Still very solid. Now, going on to Morph himself. Going to the head, I really do like this head sculpt. Definitely a well-needed, upgrade compared to the other Morph we have, which is, this one's a little more animated or comic booky, which I love comic book figures, don't get me wrong, but, it just looks a little too comic booky for me. Still really like that other figure, though. Pretty cool. Looks exactly like he did in that final scene of the TV show. And he does come with 2 open hands, so you can always just have him, rubbing his bald head like that. So, pretty cool. And, my favorite thing that I've been doing is kind of doing, like, jazz hands. But, yeah, pretty decent figure. Really do like it so far. Not a whole lot of detail, mostly because, in the TV show, not really much you can really do other than, like, that cell shading effect, which I think they do very well on the head. Doesn't really look like they did much for the costume itself, but I mean, still very solid. And I do really like it. articulation-wise, head goes up pretty far, looks down pretty far as well, has a, right degree with the, arm, full 360 with that, double jointed elbows, hands, do what they do. He does have an ab crunch, which goes down that far, which pretty astounding even for the coat. And then going back, the coat does kind of stop it a bit, but, goes back a little decent. He does have a waist swivel, which, very well hidden, because it didn't even look like he had it when I, originally opened him up. The belt looks pretty good. I really do like the belt. It is kind of flat, but I mean, this is based off the TV show. He kicks out this far, kicks back even farther. That's very impressive. And I don't believe, yeah, he doesn't have drop-down hips. And this was something I thought was really cool. He does have a, calf swivel that's very well hidden with that. And double-jointed knees, which typical for all Marvel Legends. And then, calf swivel / ankle pivot, which I do love what they're doing, with hiding the, points of articulation, within, the straps and stuff. That's very cool. I will say, though, he also does kind of have some small feet, so he may be a bit wobbly and uneven, but, he was kind of a bit of a scrawny character in the TV show, so can't really complain too much. Now, comparison-wise, here he is next to the first Morph we got in the Age of Apocalypse wave, which this is where I originally fell in love with Morph from the Exiles comic, and this is, the outfit he wore throughout most of that run. So, very happy with that, and something I know some of you are probably curious about, can you head, swap them? The answer being yes, and that does fit on very well. Looks a little big, but I mean, not too bad. And if you want to, do the reverse, the head looks a little small, but I mean, still not terrible. Still pretty cool. And I'm assuming you could, swap the head with... actually, I don't think these really fit too well on, that body. But, it's fine. And going on to just, some of the other X-Men 97 characters that I have. This isn't all of them, but these are just kind of the ones that, I think are kind of the more standout ones from the wave that he interacts with the most. Here he is next to the Jean Grey figure, which still really enjoy this Jean Grey. One of my favorites from the wave. Because I think this was wave 2, if I'm not mistaken. Here he is next to Magneto, which this is still, my favorite, Magneto action figure that I have. Truthfully, the best one, and it's the most comic accurate one I have, other than, the purple hands, but, the red hands have grown on me since I've owned this figure. And then the last 97 figure I will show is him next to Cyclops, and, I believe this is Cyclops' jacket, if I'm not mistaken. And, this is something a lot of people do probably want to see. And, these two were like the bestest of friends in the TV show. So, I legally have to show them together. Here he is next to the astonishing Wolverine figure, which really hate mine because mine just has a really loose claw. But, these two look very good next to each other. And I know my camera's probably not, really great at it, just because I probably do have it kind of low. But I mean, these two do scale very well with each other, and, just all around very good, especially if you don't have, the, 97 Wolverine. This one, definitely a very good substitute. But, it's a pretty decent figure. Would I say pay full price for it? No, I'd say, wait till he goes on clearance. I did get him from my, comic shop I work at, so I did get him with my store credit, so not too shabby, pretty decent. And they did have a couple others from that specific wave there. I was very curious about the Sunspot, so I may try to get him eventually, but, Uh, yeah, like I said, pretty decent figure. Wouldn't pay full price for him. I would definitely, say wait for him for a little bit. But if you don't have a Morph in your collection, I do recommend getting this one because this one is, pretty cool and does kind of stand out on a shelf. But yeah, that's basically all I have for you guys today. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.